Hi, I'm Pat Baer, and welcome to Pat Baer's Anime Club, as mentioned. This is an ongoing video series. Every other week, I put out a new video where I explore something from the world of anime that I want to talk about. It could be a deep dive on a subgenre or a particular point in history in the world of anime that I want to chat about, or I want to talk about upcoming anime or anime that's happening right now in the current season and give recommendations. I do a lot of recommendations because I watch a lot of anime. But this time around, we're jumping gears again. Very rarely do we do this here on Pat Baer's Anime Club, but we're switching over to Pat Baer's Manga Club. That's right, we're talking about manga. Um, the world of manga, and I'm going to answer a question that was posed to me, and I was like, oh, I should make a video about this. After I, of course, explained my answer to a friend of mine who asked me, what are VScrolls? They had been on a popular website for purchasing manga and reading it digitally, and there was a category called VScroll, and they were like, I don't know what that is. He's like, is that a genre? Is that a style? What's going on? I was like, oh, I can't explain this. And I felt like maybe you will see that coming up when you're, browsing and you're looking for something. You might be like, I don't know. Do I like VScroll? Do I know what VScrolls are? I'll tell you. The simple answer is they're vertical scrolls. They're vertical comics. Okay, so that's been Pat Baer. No, that's not the end of the video. I'll get into it more. But anyway, here right now, this is an example of manga pages. You open a book. This is what it's going to look like. You go from right to left, top to bottom. It is a traditional manga style. Um, but if you head over to a place like Bookwalker, for example, got a screenshot here, you're going to see V-Scroll comics that are for sale. And V-Scroll comics are different in that they are vertical. Now, these are manga titles you see here, which is not the traditional style. As I said, the traditional style going back is kind of this one-page thing. You're reading the book like that. And when you go to a website like Bookwalker, or Comixology or whatever, any place you're reading Shonen Jump's app, when you're reading digital comics, you're going to be looking from right to left, top to bottom, and you're going to scroll and use your finger to move around, or use a mouse if you read comics digitally on a computer or something like that. You're going to go through that way. But V scrolls in the manga style are emulating a different style, the manhwa style, the South Korean style of comic, as you can see here in Demon Lord's Martial Arts Ascension. Demon Lord's Martial Arts Ascension is a new manhwa. And this particular story, I'm not going to get into explaining what the story is about, but this particular story is a manga. It's not a manga, I'm sorry, manhwa. It's a South Korean story. And it is typical in the webtoon style of a vertical scroll. It is meant for reading on your phone and just moving your, just you just take your phone and you're scrolling, you're just moving your thumb, or use the scroll wheel on your computer if you're watching online. I will show you. I made a video. I made a video to demonstrate this. So here we go. Here is quickly. This is not how fast I read. Using my mouse scroll wheel, you can even see my mouse there. Just reading this comic, just looking top to bottom, reading through, going through everything, being like, oh yeah, this happens and that goes there. Okay, great. And you can see that is, well, it's just going to scroll through here. That is just an example of a manhwa. The interesting thing about the Chinese style is that it is both vertical, but also some panels look like American style comics or Japanese style comics, and that there might be other things. Whereas this is just generally like one frame, action frames or dialogue frames scrolled through. That is the Korean style, most popular that we're thinking of, V-Scrolls. Another example, I'm the villainess to be poisoned, so why am I being adored? This is available on Bookwalker, and I've been reading through this. This is, again, a V-Scroll, but this is a manga. Now, are all V-Scrolls colorized? seemingly, yes, all VScrolls that are going for this manhwa, this popularized in South Korea style, are seemingly anyway going for this full color style of comic here. And you can see, we'll go through this again. This was on the Bookwalker's site here. This is a comic that is done by Japanese folks to kind of ape the style. So while it is a practical standpoint of you can just scroll, go through. Obviously, I'm scrolling very fast in this video. Scrolling, going through, and just seeing everything there. Should look good on your phone, so you don't have to have a tablet on its side, which is how a lot of people read comics that way, that are reading on their devices. And on your phone, you might have to turn it on its side, or you have to just like constantly make it bigger and then move the other panel and move around. And it doesn't flow as well as just using your thumb to scroll through, or again, your mouse scroll wheel. So partially it is for convenience sake for digital comics and reading on that. I don't know if, a actual physical copy of this story how that would feel reading that right to left and turn the page. That might feel weird. So partially it is a practical element, and also it is a stylistic choice. This is an upcoming. I have not read this. This I believe, is just out like this month, very recent. Demon's Crest, which was made by, I'm reading the name, Reki Kawahara, who created Sword Art Online. So this is, I don't have a page for this, unfortunately, of this, but I can tell you, this is a VScroll. I had somebody that I know asked me, this is independent of the person asking about VScrolls, being like, hey, is the guy that made Sword Art Online, is he doing stuff in Korea? And it's like, no, he's just doing the manhwa style, the VScroll style. So that was a big announcement. Yeah, you can see it's on. What am I even saying? The photo tells you it's on sale this month. Now, if you're like, oh, okay, I get this. So some people are doing VScrolls. They're going with this style. They're doing the webtoon style. It will be good on phones. It's in full color. Okay. That's just going to be like a separate thing, right? Well, it's not fully a separate thing right now, because some stories, not a lot, and I think it's a test bed, some traditionally presented Japanese manga are being adapted. This is Bungo Stray Dogs, which has been colorized because, occasionally you might see a page or two of color, but generally it's black and white. So they're fully colorizing, and they are redoing it. So you can reread or read for the first time Bungo Stray Dogs as a VScroll. And it's similar to the art style, but it's changed a bit. But mostly they're colorizing, and then they are changing it. So instead of it being several panels and all that, they are making it so wider, more, either pulled in more or pulled back more to go with this particular style. Which I'm interested to find out about this. This is probably the most current, accurate stuff I've ever talked about on Pat Baer's Anime Club, or Pat Baer's Manga Club, outside of talking about current, upcoming releases of anime. And, like I said, I could have answered this video in 30 seconds. Just said, the V stands for vertical, and the scroll stands for scrolling. It's a V-scroll. It's just a vertical scrolling comic. It is a formatting choice in manga, but also it is aping the South Korean style of presenting comics. There is a separate video in me that's probably Pat Baer's Manga Club that would get into the art style and the choices and try to tracing it back. And then, of course, when having conversations about this, we have to talk about how these are teams. They are adapting web novels. They are working on weekly releases of full color art, and how people breaks happen suddenly. The seasons end suddenly. It's end of season 1. We're on a 3-month hiatus to improve the comic, but really that is to recover, because it is a grueling process, and that is besides the point. But I felt like I should bring it up. I am hoping that whoever is adapting the manga into VScrolls are being paid well and are being given the opportunity and the time to make these adaptations work. I am hoping that the Japanese manga artists and creators who are working on VScrolls from the ground up are taking their time and they are, being paid well. I hope for all of that. But I hope this answered the question, what are V-Scrolls? And I hope you enjoyed Pat Baer's Manga Club. In the comments below, I would love to hear from you. What would be something that you would like me to cover in the future? It could be another like roundup of a particular style of anime that I'm watching and enjoying. It could be another Manga Club episode. It'll probably be a while before I do that again. You could, if you wanted to, you could request, hey Pat, please do a deep dive on this topic. Or you could just, let me know, do you read any manga that you now know are called V-Scrolls? Is it a term you've heard before and you just or saw before and you just didn't know what was going on with it? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from folks. I guess also if you got this far and this has nothing to do with you because you're not really a manga reader, what are you watching right now? What's going on this season? It's one of the best years for anime we've had in a very long time. This season has been great. Let me know what you're watching. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for checking out Pat Baer's Manga Club, which of course is a subsidiary of Pat Baer's Anime Club. And I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.